All right. Joni Mitchell with Big Yellow Taxi. Kind of near the birth of the movement that we're going to be talking about today, sustainability here on our planet. And today, I guess here on What's Going On are Dr. Holly Porter Morgan of the Natural Science Department and Alvin Dazrat of the Division of Administration, who are members of the Sustainability Council and are on to talk about activities for Earth Week. Welcome. You got
Thank you for
it.
having
Thank
us.
you.
And we talked a little bit about the format of the show in the beginning. While Holly's been on the show before, talked about herself a little bit. Alvin, this is your first time on the show, so we'd like to give our guests an opportunity to talk a little bit about themselves, their backgrounds, their studies before LaGuardia, and then talk a little bit about what you do here at the college.
So prior to uh, my current um, status here at LaGuardia, well, of course, I've been here. I've been at LaGuardia for the past 17 plus years. Prior, I was working. I've been with CTL as a e-portfolio consultant for the past 12 years, and then afterwards, I came on board as an IT assistant for the business office and became a co-chair for Sustainability Council.
Alvin, you were a student here at LaGuardia, weren't you?
Yes, I was. Got my associates from here in 2004, and then I went on to pursue my bachelor's in computer system technology at
All right.
City Tech.
What was your experience of you being here at LaGuardia as opposed to City Tech? What kind of differences did you see between the institutions?
Coursework. There's a lot of more load of
Really?
coursework that I had to take part in, and a lot of projects and um, deadlines, term papers, and a lot of studying and everything. The same thing as you do at LaGuardia, but more
More of it.
advanced.
Uh, it's
Yeah.
interesting because one of the things that I was told for students who were going to City Tech after, or is that what we're calling it? New York City. I always confuse it.
New York City, yeah, City
Right.
Tech is a short name for New York City
Right.
College of Technology.
That actually we had better technological facilities here at the campus as far as smart classrooms and computer labs than they did, which I found kind of interesting
Yes.
considering that that's the whole focus over there is technology over. So
Yeah,
we don't know how good we
definitely.
have it at LaGuardia until we start checking around in other places. Holly, do
Yeah.
you want to talk a little bit, just a kind of a reintroduction of yourself in case anybody has forgotten since the last time you were on my show?
Oh,
A,
sure.
a
Why
quick
not?
synopsis.
So, also, background at CUNY. I did my PhD at the Graduate Center in biology, in the plant sciences track, actually. So my PhD is in plant science with a specialization in geospatial sciences or geographic information sciences. So I kind of combined those together. Before that, I did a master's in interdisciplinary studies at NYU, and I did my bachelor's at Ohio State. Go Buckeyes! Um, and I'm originally from Ohio, and so as I know most of the faculty here. I'd like to meet anybody I don't know, um, and I run the environmental science program here at the Natural Sciences Department, and I'm co-director of our President Society of Environment, President Society Environment program.
So the fit seems natural for you to be on the
Yeah.
Sustainability Council. So the question goes, Alvin. And by the way, you're mentioning, do you still teach ePortfolio now through CTL?
No, as of right now, I do not. I'm not teaching ePortfolio at the moment. I'm full IT as an IT assistant
Yeah,
for the
right.
business
That's what
office.
I thought. Uh, but
Yeah.
so how do you, in that, given that you have that role at the college, how did you find yourself as a member? of the Sustainability Council?
So I found myself as a member of the Sustainability Council because I want to, I want to contribute to where I've also, when you basically contribute back to what I've I've gotten from the college over the years that I've been at the college. Basically giving back. So joining Sustainability Council gave me the opportunity to give back, trying to make LaGuardia a better place, more eco-friendly, more sustainable, just for not for myself, but for future LaGuardians that plan on
Yeah.
coming to the
Here's a
campus
question for both, and
for their
both
study.
of you. I guess you can either one. You can answer this. What's the history of the Sustainability Council here at the college? I mean, how long has it been active, or what are its roots? I mean, the college, we're celebrating 50 years, right? So how far?
Yeah.
And I just mentioned, I mean, that recording was from 1970, and we know that that was
Yeah.
the like the birth of the whatever you want to call it, the environmental movement on the planet, which interestingly enough is a direct reaction to the space race and the fact that the astronauts were
Hmm.
bringing back these photographs showing this little lonely blue ball in the great abyss of space, and that's all we had. But the how far back does it go at
The blue
LaGuardia?
marble.
Yeah, exactly.
The blue
I used to
marble,
watch
yeah.
that show
So
when I was a kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Big Blue Marble. I did.
Yeah. So the Sustainability Council started back
Oh,
in
really?
2008. Yeah, City University of New York has started an initiative for all the campuses, not only just LaGuardia, but across campus, across other campuses, to come up with an initiative to promote sustainability. So, taken upon LaGuardia, we came up with an idea of having a group called Sustainability Council to take on the initiative at our at the campus. And since 2008 to now, we've been coming up with ideas, just to contribute, promote sustainability, educate others about sustainability, just so that they have the opportunity to take part in making the campus eco-friendly and
Are
sustainable.
you both founding members?
No, not me. I
No,
wasn't here
I'm
yet.
not a founding member.
I
Yeah, I
I assume
wasn't
everybody
here
has
during
been
that time.
here
I
as long
mean,
as
I
I
was.
have, and because I just know everybody being here.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not a founding father of
No,
Sustainability
okay.
Council. No.
Do we who do we know who were some of the early members?
Ah.
No. I mean,
Uh, I
yeah,
wouldn't be able
one name that comes
you
up in
know,
my head because
tell
I'm
me
in
that.
humanities is Leslie Aarons. I think
Mm.
she's been working with. I don't know if she still works with you folks, but I remember her being part of the Sustainability Council for years.
Yeah, she's been involved for a long time, but I
Yeah, she's been a while.
yeah.
Yeah, I think she was part of the. She had a environmental
Oh, very yeah,
justice
exactly.
club.
Which is
From what I
Club
remembered.
and a great
Yeah,
class in environmental ethics. Yeah.
yeah, right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's interesting because I tie this all to the ecology movement, which is what we called it
Mm.
back in I think the 70s. We called it the ecology movement, right? Which is whatever. What's
Hmm.
that? The study ology. What is that? Love? No, that's philo. I guess it's the study of the environment, right? Whatever ecosystem. Uh,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
but what's
yeah,
special about us is that this is about direct action at the institution, so that we don't uh, cause any harm anymore. We don't take any more from the planet or do anything to the planet than we have to. Right? Is am I getting this right?
Yeah. 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 You're
yeah.
yeah.
Right. You're hitting right in the
Yeah.
bullseye.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, ecology is kind of the like organisms, plants, animals, and their
Yeah.
surroundings, right? So their environment.
right.
So you got it.
Okay. So who are some of the folks that are currently on the council besides yourselves?
Well, we have Christina Natali, who's the she works for the Division of Administration as well. We have Midas I, who's for natural science. We have uh,
Rachel?
Rachel Ewens. We have Tomoachi Imamichi. We have, I mean, there's faculties from all across campus, each department, humanities, natural science. We have library. We have even staff from division administration as part of that's part of the council. Like, for example, property management, Ivan Correa, he's part of the council as well. So yeah, so we have a wild, flexible folks that's part of the
And I
council.
mean, today's show. We are going to talk about some of the Earth Week activities, but that's only obviously that's 1 week, and I mean, Earth Day was on Friday, which I will like
Hmm.
Yep.
admit here on the air that like my wife she wanted me to have a fire outside of the pit. So we actually had an outdoor. And I went to wave at a neighbor, and he wouldn't wave back. So I think he got bitter about Earth Week, but I can defend myself. We drive electric cars, and we have a lot of trees. And
There you
anyhow,
go.
but so what? But I wanted to know. So what does the Sustainability Council do the other 11 months of the year, or whatever it is, the other 51 weeks? What are some of the activities that the Sustainability Council is involved with around campus?
Well, what we recently had was a virtual event where we had like a virtual reality tour of based on the finance department, where we have submission of artworks or even photography or even a video collage of works promoting sustainability. We had kind of a webinar with rideshare 501 rideshare about bicycles and how we can get away from emission CO2 emissions on campus, around New York City or
Right.
anything, so
Five.
The Sustainability Council is working together with the Climate Reality Group also on
yes.
campus, which is our campus has the first chapter in CUNY of Climate Reality, which is an international organization. So, which is pretty exciting that we have the very first chapter in CUNY. So, this is a chapter of Climate Reality, but also a student club and their kind of big initiative for the year is to get a more walkable, bikeable campus. So they're working together with Sustainability Council on the idea of getting bike racks, more places for students to store their
Yeah.
bikes, on getting protected bike lanes. So this is something that's a way to get students more more engaged in sustainability at the college and more
Hmm.
engaged with the sustainability council, right, Alvin?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you start talking about bike lanes and stuff, I start thinking Joey Jacobs,
Yep.
Dr.
He is
Jacobs.
So
part of this.
yeah,
Yep.
we're fulfilling his request.
Always.
All right, as I
Yep.
call him, the
We're
jokester.
we're trying to transition into fulfilling his request. So it's
Well,
gonna
Yes,
take, yeah, it's
exactly.
gonna take
if we're
time,
up
Exactly.
but
to
yeah, we're getting there.
if we're up to uh, Dr. Jacobs, the entire city would be one. Like nobody would drive a car in New York City if he could help
That's
it.
So
right.
yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So
I mean, he is a force to be reckoned with in an amazing way, and he knows how to get things done. It's
yeah, I
incredible.
know
Pedal
he's
to
Yeah.
the
got his
metal.
hands in government and all kinds of stuff. He's mixed up with everybody. Uh,
Yep.
so so what I'm getting here, because when you guys talk about sustainability, I start thinking things like, all right, okay, so are we capturing stormwater and recycling it in the waste system? Or are we, I can't remember his name, who was one of the vice presidents who painted the top of the C building white
Mm,
or silver to reduce heat, coming into the building and having then in the summertime having to cool it. Or what the dream that Dr. Arcario and I both had, which was to turn the entire roof of the M&E buildings into some sort of community garden, but the the ceiling could not support, to,
yeah.
to capture water again, so it doesn't get. And we know you're Ollie, you're working with the folks over in Newtown Creek, so we know
Mhm.
the damage that happens when like a rainstorm comes along and all this water gets thrown into the sewage system, and in that case, it actually backwashes all the pollutants
Yep.
that live in Newtown Creek. But that's what I start thinking. But the way you're talking about it, it seems even more pervasive in this idea of like, are we thinking in terms of even before we get to the college? How are people behaving before, like for example, to ride a bike as opposed to driving their cars in? I mean, so I'll tell you, I actually rode a city bike from when I was living in, I think when I was living in there's a neighborhood that's next to Park Slope. It's even farther, Windsor Terrace. I would get on a city bike at the park in what is it, the big park Prospect, and ride it.
Prospect Park.
And this is the summertime. I did this one summer and I'd ride with. And I don't know if you've ever ridden one of those bikes. They're really heavy, and so I rode it all the way from there to the college.
Wow.
How many miles was that?
I mean, you tell me.
Good workout.
But yeah,
How many miles and how many hours?
well, let's put it this way. It took me about the midway point was Williamsburg. Like I ended up
Okay.
in the Hasidic. I would stop at this Hasidic bakery in Williamsburg, get something like a coffee or a Gatorade or something. Get
Fuel.
back on exactly, and that was a 45 minutes to there, and then it's 45 minutes
Wow.
to the college. So put in an hour and a half. I mean, usually I do. I don't think I did it there and back, but like maybe in the morning I'd do it.
Uh-huh.
And I got to tell you, that was an amazing way to start your day. And it, as far when I was actually losing weight as opposed to during the pandemic and gaining it, it was good times. But as opposed to, let's say, getting on the G train with everybody else, though that's still sustainable, right? Are we talking? How do we
Yeah.
feel about New York City's rapid transit system and its sorry, my cable system is going crazy over here. I got a warning. Sorry. How do we feel about the MTA and here in New York City as a sustainable service for LaGuardia and New York City?
Well, so right now, I mean, of course, MTA. I mean, they got a little bit more work to do in terms of sustainability. I mean, they have other things that's going on with MTA, but in terms of sustainability, I mean, they do have. I mean, they are taking initiative, but I mean, there's other. I mean, there's work that needs to be done with uh, with um with MTA, um, which I guess is it's I mean, it's a project itself.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think at any time we can. I mean, I agree. But I do think anytime we can take take any kind of mass transit rather than putting another car on the road is a win, right? Whether it's a bus or a train or
Yeah.
a Metro North or a Long Island Railroad, it's a single person in a car is more pollution than 20 people in a train car when the train car is going to go anyway, right?
Right.
Put it. I mean, think about it this way. I mean, they did roll out, the buses that are all electric,
Electric, yep.
which, it makes perfect sense.
Hmm.
It does help with being sustainable because it does eliminate gas emissions.
Yeah.
I mean, people breathe those things in like crazy.
Well, that's the thing about New York. I used to run a community garden in the Bronx, and the Bronx, which has the Cross Bronx Expressway, had heavy CO, whatever,
Mhm.
carbon monoxide, and we would have to test the earth in order to figure out whether we could actually grow anything in it, particularly because we had folks growing, stuff they wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to test for lead levels and all kinds of things like that. We had,
Yeah.
isn't it? But again, so for the Sustainability Council, is it enough to have an impact on the activities that are going on? I mean, obviously, you're probably working closely with Vice President Shahir Irfan.
Hmm.
Mhm.
and his
Yes.
folks as far as every decision they make.
Hmm.
And but
Yeah. I mean, as of right now, the college has been making themselves very sustainable. There've been projects that the college has done um, within the past 2 3 years. For example, the smart classrooms. They removed all the, well, actually not even the smart classrooms, but all the classrooms. They removed the fluorescent light bulbs, and they implemented LEDs now.
Mhm.
We have water refilling stations across campus, which it helps to eliminate bottled waters that we purchase. I mean, those water bottles, when they throw it out, where they go? They end up in a landfill.
they end up in the
So,
Pacific in a
exactly.
whirlpool island of plastic.
Eh,
Yeah.
Right. So, the water refilling stations, they do help in a way.
Yeah.
We kind of help promote having students, faculty, even staff bring water bottles with their own, water containers to campus, and they can refill it, and have that stored, so that they don't have to continuously buy um, water bottles.
Yeah, single-use plastic.
And it's one of the
Yeah,
things we are
plastic.
working on is making sure that a lot of students don't may not know that that the water that they get from these water refilling stations is often better is typically better water in terms of quality
Yeah,
than you're not sure than or at least the same quality than water that they're going to get from a vending machine. A lot of students think if it comes from the vending machine and it's bottled water,
Right.
I was just going to name a particular brand, but I'm not going to do that. They think if it comes in a bottle, bottled water, that it's higher quality, and it's not, because as we all know, the bottled water is simply, the majority of the time, is simply municipal water supplies, right? So it's the same exact water, eh, often, that you would get from the water
yeah,
bottle filler. It's more expensive than gasoline,
exactly.
Bottled water,
yeah, bottled water is more expensive than gasoline.
I believe.
When you figure out the price per gallon, it's actually more expensive. And a lot of people don't recognize that. It also doesn't have the same kind of regulations on it that bottled water doesn't, that the water that, we get out of the tap does. It just doesn't have those kind of regulations. So it's just things to think about when you're buying that bottle of
Yeah.
water,
I know when you mentioned this, somebody who used to go on about this was Michelle, Alvin's former
Mm.
colleague
Yeah.
in the Center for Teaching and Learning, and Dr. Sokolsky, who's also talks about that they're close, are always talking about, we go to these events when we were having events, and one of the things I have to keep remembering is that we're coming out of the pandemic where behaviors had to change by virtue of the fact that we weren't meeting. There was no catering, right? That's the catering budget went to zero. But you would go to these events, and there'd be bottled water there. And so then, I know that
Mhm.
MBJ, for example, they'll offer you like one of these containers of water, and then
Yeah.
little cups, if instead of having everybody grab a bottle of water and
Right.
bring
I
it
mean,
back.
those. I mean, that's the thing. MJ has really stepped up in terms of sustainability. They have. I mean, majority of their products that they have is biodegradable. Is like, for example, paper cups instead of plastic cups. There's probably other utensils that they have converted from plastic, away from plastic, to paper or biodegradable containers. So they've done a lot.
You know, Yeah, that's actually a good point for us to mention. Hugo, you had asked what other types of things the Sustainability Council does the rest of the year, and I was just thinking, Alvin,
Yeah.
when you said that, this is probably a good time for us to mention the legislation that was adopted by the CUNY Board of Trustees on
Yes.
January 31st of this year, that said that all of the CUNY campuses, and this is
Soon.
also SUNY as well, just so everyone knows, that all the CUNY campuses have to establish plans to eliminate the use of particular single-use plastics. And each of our campuses have to submit plans to CUNY Central, to the university, on how they're going to be eliminating particular common single-use
Hmm.
plastics. So the great thing about this is that who's tasked with doing this at all of our CUNY campuses? Well, it's the sustainability
At
Yes.
each
councils.
college.
So
Of each
um,
college, yes.
at each college, yep, at each college. So the sustainability councils are tasked with figuring out a plan to ensure that our colleges are not using particular single-use plastics. So as you can imagine, these are things like, I have the list right here just to make sure I don't miss any, plastic straws and stirrers, plastic water bottles, cups with plastic lids, plastic bags, plastic and foam takeout containers, plastic utensils, plastic wrap, and plastic cups. And we kind of went down through these, and the really cool thing is that LaGuardia is doing the majority of these
Yeah.
already, which is
Yeah, you're ahead of
fantastic,
the game.
right?
Mm.
Yeah. So Alvin,
Yep.
you want to plastic straws and stirrers. We've already replaced
Well,
those,
plastic
right?
straws and I mean stirs, yes, we have replaced. Those are now
With
wooden
wooden.
stirs that we normally see when they have catering events. They bring out the the wooden stirs. Plastic straws, that I'm not 100% as of yet, but they're in the process of finalizing. MBJ is actually in the process of finalizing that
Yeah, I
with
know that
us.
right now the policy is you get if you want a straw, you got to ask for it. Reduces
Yes,
their usage.
definitely.
By the way, it's
That's
12:30. I
good.
just want to do a quick station break. No,
Oh,
that's fine.
sorry.
The show is What's Going On. I'm your host, Hugo Fernandez, here on LaGuardia Web Radio, WLGR. And my guests today are Dr. Holly Porter Morgan of the Natural Science Department and Alvin Dazrat of the Division of Administration, who are members of the Sustainability Council. And we're going to start talking about Earth Week, the activities that are going on. So let's talk about Earth Week. What can we expect for as far as activities for Earth Week?
Well, we do have our tabling event that is happening Wednesday from 12 to 3 in the E building atrium. We also have I believe is a um book
Book
discussion
discussion,
that
yeah.
we will be having right after the Earth or during the Earth Day tabling event. But I think Holly, I think you do have something as well on that day. If you want to
Hmm.
talk about it.
Yeah, I'll be talking together with Dr. Sarah Durand about some of the work that has to do with stormwater reductions, Hugo. He set us up
Finger on the
perfectly to mention
pulse.
that. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Right on the pulse of what's going on at LaGuardia. That's Hugo Fernandez. So yeah, so Sarah Duranda and I will be talking about some of the great work going on at Newtown Creek in terms of green infrastructure to soak up some of that storm water, help with bioremediation, cleaning out, the pollutants from the storm water, and then the testing of the water quality. So some of the work that we've been doing with students over the last 5, 8, 10 years now at Newtown Creek. So
Well,
yeah.
And not to also forget as well, along with the tabling event, we will be having our annual spring planting happening
Ah,
sometime next month. The council will send out an email once a date has been confirmed of the spring planting.
exciting.
So all are invited.
What when you say tabling event, what does that uh, com-
So
comprise?
the tabling event is comprised of different organizations such as 501 Right Share, we have voter registration, we have health and wellness, and there's some other clubs and also organizations that do come out and attend our tabling event, and they talk about their contribution towards sustainability. So to educate faculty, staff, and even students on sustainability, what they interpret in sustainability, and educate others on what they can do to contribute towards sustainability.
Yeah, my understanding is that people are can bring in things like batteries and stuff like that to turn in. And my wife, who she's like one of these people that just go, she once she doesn't need something, she gets rid of it. As opposed to
Yes.
me, I don't know if you can see my office. Like I don't let it, I never give away anything. I never get rid of anything. But uh, I've got three old computers here. Now, are you going to take those if I bring in her old she's got two PowerBooks and an old MacBook or
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do have our e-waste collection that's being
There you go.
is being controlled by our property manager, Ivan Correa. So we do have as part of the Earth Day table event. I mean, we have a table for e-waste. So if anybody have any m- uh computers or any device that they want to get rid of, feel free to bring it over to the Earth Day tabling event. Monitor,
Monitor,
printer,
printer,
yeah, keep,
radio, DVD
you got it.
player. People still have those. Speakers, fax
Yeah,
machines, keyboards. I'm looking at the list. TVs, your old phone, your old
yeah,
mouse, whatever. Yeah, throw it in the throw it in a bag, bring it on the
yeah.
train. That's what I
And
do.
if they're not, and if a student, faculty, and staff are not able to attend, you feel free to you can contact property management, and they can schedule a pickup or drop off.
Yeah. That table will be on Wednesday, April 27th from 12 to 3 in the e-building
Yes.
atrium. And again, yeah, if you can't come at that time, you can drop it off with building facilities. Also, there will be a e-waste table at May 11th out on the plaza. Since we're doing a plaza event outside, and Alvin and his team are going to be out on the
We will be
plaza
there.
collecting e-waste.
yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
we did the radio station did the event in the gym, and I'm trying to work things out so that I can be available on the 11th. So we'll probably be there with you, streaming it
Awesome.
live. Hopefully, we'll get a better location as far as take because like when I'm not interviewing something, we're basically like just looking out at we were just looking out at the gym and everybody wandering by. But we'll see what we can do next time. Uh,
There's not going to be
there
rain this
isn't.
time. So maybe you could be at the end of the street. Well, we're going to be on the
We'll be on the
Well, we
streets,
street.
So you're going to be the Hugo on the
man on the
street. You
street,
could
yeah.
be like, looking down the
Well,
street. Yeah.
no, ideally would be because a lot of the action happens either on or in front of the stage. So if
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
have access, but obviously we need power and we need Wi-Fi. That's something that
Yeah.
Dr. Riccio and Mr. Pope, my engineer, will have to deal with. I'm just trying to be there. Uh, is it so?
Figure it out.
So obviously we're doing these Earth Week activities. What else is happening? Because it's Earth Month, right? Or is it just like Earth Day? The whole month we're supposed to be focused on these issues, right? So is there anything else that's going on the rest of the month besides? And I guess we're starting it. I don't know why I thought May 1st was Earth Day. Did I get something wrong there?
No, well, we started our festivity. I mean, festivities started since April 1st. I mean, we had our art and photo contest, which is a month long. We had our 511 Right Share Earth Month pledge. We also had, which is a whole month. We had our Get Into Campus webinar for what 511 Right Share. We also had the Spring Fest, which we just talked about. We have the Travel Jeopardy webinar on the 11th, which passed. We also had the Department of Environmental Protection visit to Newtown Creek. The book talk with Dr. Melissa Checker on the 27th, and the Earth Day festival.
Yeah, there's a lot going on
Yeah,
Wednesday. I've seen that.
yeah,
I can tell.
Now, now there is going to be, if people didn't get to go to the visit to the Newton Creek wastewater treatment plant on the 14th, and they still want to go, Alvin, there's another chance to go do that. Is it on May
yes. I
10th, I
think.
believe?
Yeah. It will be on May 10th. Um, I think they might as we had talked about talks
Yeah,
about that. We can find out more information about that. The meetup
yeah.
point and
Can check in
everything.
with
Yeah.
Midas.
Yeah, you guys were talking before, and you were talking about how important being the single driver in the car. And I'll admit that every once in a while I'm driving in from Connecticut. I drive a Prius. It's not electric, but it's
There
a
you go.
hybrid. But
There you go.
and sometimes I joke with the notion of getting a Tesla, right? And ideally I would have been solar powered, but I have too many trees for
Yeah.
that. And hopefully it would be self-driving, so I could just wake up at the campus, right? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But
That'd be great.
if there was one thing that all LaGuardians could do to contribute to the sustainability of, when we're talking about the planet now, right? We're talking not just
Yeah.
New York City or even the college, but if there was one sustainability action that you would encourage everybody to do, like Lent, give up meat for whatever it is, the 40 days between Fat Tuesday and Easter, what would it be? What's the one thing that everybody could do? Uh,
To contribute,
yeah, to contribute that would
You just took my
I
thing
would
because I was
say,
gonna say eat less
yeah,
meat.
I would say
on that.
educate. I want to say educate because that's how it all starts. Is you educate others on sustainability, how to become more sustainable, and then eventually that will grow where other people will educate others, and basically the whole world will be able to know about sustainability. What they think about sustainability. What they can do to contribute towards sustainability, either whether it's on campus or even off campus. And around their neighborhood. Yeah.
But you're saying, Dr. Porter, if everybody just stopped eating meat,
I think that eating less meat, I'm not going to tell anybody to stop eating meat, but I mean, my husband is not vegetarian. And I'm just saying, like, less meat, eat lower on the food chain is better for the environment. The amount of resources that go to feeding cattle, because you have to grow crops to feed the
right?
cattle, right? And then the amount of methane that's produced by our domestic animals that we grow for food, the amount of waste produced by those animals, all that kind of stuff. Uh, I stopped eating meat when I went to a cattle farm, as well as I went to a pig farm, and that was it for me. So, but not everybody can do that. It's just a personal choice. Like I said, my husband
Yeah,
eats
and
meat,
and
so
being
you know, and I don't care what anybody else does. That's just me.
right,
Mhm.
and well,
Everybody's to their own. But I think, like, eating less meat, like, foregoing meat 1 or 2 days a week, that has an impact.
every
That's
little
just
bit.
my opinion. I also think that, like Alvin said, um, more education and just getting involved
Yeah.
locally. Like, everything goes from the ground up. It's grassroots up. So getting involved locally, get involved at something in the college, getting involved with a club, get involved with something in your neighborhood, um, and vote for people that have the same ideas as you in terms of the climate and sustainability, especially at the local level,
Yeah.
right? At your representatives, your council people, things like that, and start at those levels to move up.
I,
Go
and
ahead.
just to piggyback off of Holly, I mean, we are recruiting people for the Sustainability Council. We are recruiting
Yeah.
students, faculty, and even staff. So if anybody that is listening that wants to take part as a member of the Sustainability Council, all you have to do is just email Sustainability
Yeah.
Council, tell us that you guys want to get involved, and we will bring you in as a member of the council.
Yeah, just get involved in as many things as you can. We know that time is tough, right? But, you meet people that are like-minded, you meet people that are interested in
Yeah,
things you're interested in. There's so many volunteer types of things going on, you know? I mean, I went counting oysters recently. I did not paddle the canoe because I had back surgery, but I got to count the oysters, they're coming back to our local waterways. I mean, the Riverkeeper Sweep is coming up. It's the first weekend in May. There's going to be there's going to be I always take a team. For anybody that's interested, contact me. I'll be with Newtown Creek Alliance. I always take a bunch of students. We want LaGuardia to represent cleaning up our local shorelines. There are thousands and thousands of people across across New York and along the Hudson that clean up our local shorelines, and it's called the Riverkeeper Sweep every single year. We clean up tons of trash from our waterways and along our waterways. Been doing it for, I think this is the 12th year, but I'd have to check. So like all of these kind of volunteer events, get out and do
yeah,
something. Put your money where your
Well, I
mouth
mean,
is.
you've moved us into the last part of the show, which is, I mean, we have somebody's watching besides me, but and I don't know if they want to ask a question. I don't know if it's Dr. Riccio who's like keeping tabs on us while she's editing the Streamathon event that's coming up on Thursday. But the future, what are the big future plans for Sustainability Council? Particularly now that we're moving from the COVID pandemic kind of virtual experience to beginning to actually have folks coming back on campus in larger and larger numbers.
well, I mean, for the future, more activities, more webinars, more activities, more engagement with our LaGuardians on sustainability, more recruitments. I mean, we are. I mean, as campus is coming. I mean, campus coming back. We have. I mean, there's other activities that we're planning to actually do, other ideas that we're planning to do. So, you know, stay tuned.
I see. Yeah, there's a thing in the chat
Yeah,
here. Did you guys put that in there, Dr. Portermore?
I did.
Uh, un other bike
That was for
possible. Oh, that was
Alvin.
like
Other
you're giving
bike
him a hint.
possibilities, yes.
What other bike possibilities are there besides just riding your bike to school and encouraging bike lanes and stuff like that around the college?
So the possibility of bike
Maybe,
lockers, the
yeah, maybe,
maybe.
yeah.
Bike
Gotcha.
lockers.
But bike lock, yeah. I mean, bike lockers. It could be. I mean, it could be a possibility that we can see on campus, which will attract more bicyclists
High end,
to
right?
ride, yeah, high end to ride their bikes instead of driving.
Well,
Um,
this is interesting.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we hired somebody and they wanted to bring their bike into the campus and into their office because it was a very expensive bike. They didn't feel comfortable locking
yeah,
it on the street. And
right.
oh my God, you'd have thought we were trying to build a new wing on to the build. We couldn't do it. So, is that an option? I get for faculty or staff, that's an option. Students obviously
Yeah,
can't bring your bike to class.
right.
Well, there are things called bike lockers. There's a company
Yeah,
called Uni that makes, kind of like a big they have them
Oh,
at
really?
Grand Central
yeah,
actually. And you you lock your bike up inside of it and it's much safer, but that's something that we'd have to work out with the company. There are other companies that do similar types of things. Some of these, even you have a green roof on top of
yeah.
it. But recognize that, that would take a space on the
Yeah,
street,
that's
away from parking.
that's why
So,
that's why I said possibility because of the spacing.
yeah,
You want to make sure
yeah,
that we're in compliance.
I
You
thought
see
it's
what I'm
been the
saying?
yep,
policy
yeah,
of the city to discourage cars with all of the different things that they did during it started in the Bloomberg period, like quieting of the streets and creating these kinds of super mediums. Then the pandemic brought in all of the outdoor cafes and where people lost
Yes.
a lot of parking, and some are trying to keep them now.
Yeah.
I was up in Portland, Maine. They actually use cement barricades that they surround the area with, so a car can't come in
Can't
and
hit.
hit. So the cafes are permanent as far as they're concerned. But
yeah,
so you think
yeah,
this is our constant challenge, right? Is that every time we try to do that,
right.
it's a push me pull me against the folks, particularly those that are living in the outer boroughs who do like driving in, who do need to drive. I mean, there are people who struggle. It's one thing that the MTA continues, and I learned this when I was working with the interim vice chancellor of student affairs, Chris Rosa, is the MTA's record on working with people who have accessibility issues and how they're
Hmm.
forced to, they need to be driven to and from accessorides as opposed to a train station that's got a working elevator or buses that come in a timely manner, whatever it is. So
And I think that's one of the things, like if you're looking at something like a bike locker, you've got to make sure that you still have all these spaces available for emergency vehicles and, buses and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So, these are things that the college would like to do, and, you know, it's not as easy as this is something that we want to see and we're just going to
yeah,
make it
right.
happen.
Well, there,
So,
right. There's
yeah,
the
but
what is it? Between the idea and the reality falls the shadow. You guys
Mhm.
have an English major, an English professor as part of the Sustainability Council. By the way, we have about 10 minutes left, and but our closing is a little is a longer cut. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to begin some kind of thank yous, goodbyes, or any things, any special things you want to mention that we didn't have a chance to talk about yet.
I think the fact that we're doing all of this work on plastics reduction is huge, because I think that's something that a lot of faculty, a lot of staff, a lot of students have been very focused on and wanted to see for a long
Yeah.
time. And I think that the fact that the university has taken this, has mandated this, that's something we
Well,
should
you know
all
what I'd like the
celebrate.
university to do that is divest from fossil fuels. As far as all of the fun,
Yeah.
this is something that keeps coming up every time they talk about it. Even our pension plans and investments is, if we got out of the fossil fuel
Hmm.
business. But when I say that, everybody looks at me in a funny way. But yeah, and every time you mention plastics, I keep
I
thinking
agree.
of, the Graduate. I have one word for you, Alvin. Anything you didn't get to say that while we have a few minutes left?
I mean, we pretty much hit it. I mean, we pretty much hit it right in bullseye. I mean, basically, you know, all we need is just the support from our LaGuardians. Come out, uh, to our tabling event, and
Yeah.
spread. I mean, basically, what you guys receive from us and all of and from the tabling event, just spread it out to your other colleagues, other faculty, staff, other students, even family members, friends, whoever, and just talk to them about sustainability and see what their input is and how it can all change um for the better.
Okay. And again, I'd give you an opportunity to say any kind of thank yous to anybody. Any shout outs to anybody we wanted as part of sustainability and what's going on this week?
Shout out to
Christina and
Christine,
Natalie.
Christina.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other co-chair for Sustainability
Yes.
Council, And Midas Sao has been really, really heavily involved, and Rachel Ewens and Tomo, and who
Ryan,
else? Alvin.
Ryan,
Yeah, Ryan Van
yeah,
Hamilton has been
Ryan
heavily
Hamilton.
involved, and Joby Jacob.
Yes. Don't forget Holly, and don't forget Rachel Ewens and Diana
Yeah.
Gordon Conyers
Yeah. Oh
from
gosh,
Library. Yeah.
Diana, thank you. Yeah. It's a, I mean, it's a really diverse group, and everyone is just, really, really passionate about sustainability and about working with the students and about making this college a better place for environmental issues. So
If you were going to give us a grade, Professor
Chris McHale.
Professor Morgan, yeah,
Yeah.
if you were going
Um,
to
no, I'm
give
not
us a
giving us a
grade,
Give us a
grade.
grade.
We have work to do. No, we have work to do
so well
still.
then needs improvement. Would that be the comment that?
We're still working on stuff. I'm not giving grades. We're going to be that kind of place where instead of grades, we talk about like what can we still do?
Yeah.
Yay!
Well,
Make it
if
happen.
everybody could cook up a hamburger a
Yeah,
week, then that'd be a big impact, wouldn't it? This is coming from a Cuban, where
yeah,
pork is like our national
I
fruit.
know.
So it's
If I could, if I could get meat from like a local rancher, like somebody near me, that the animals were, raised in a really sustainable manner and stuff like that, I would probably still eat meat,
yeah.
just so
Well,
you know. But that's a
yeah, I have some of those
discussion for another
guys
day.
around here. Maybe that's.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you both for being on the show. You've been watching what's going on. I'm your host, Hugo Fernandez, and my guests today have been Dr. Holly Porter Morgan of the Natural Science Department and Alan Dazrad of the Division of Administration, who are members of LaGuardia Sustainability Council. And we've been talking about activities for Earth Week, but we've been talking about just in general all the activities which Sustainability Council has been doing. It's great to be ahead of the curve. It's great to be a leader in this kind of work. And I want to thank you both for being on the show. And thanks,
Glad
folks.
to be here.
Of course.
Thanks for
Thank you for
having
having
us.
Thanks
us.
for everybody who watched, everybody who's listening. And Mr. Pope, take us out the way we came in with a little bit more Joni Mitchell. Thanks.